The Knicks have been one of the biggest overachievers in the NBA this season. They were projected by most to be in the basement, but yet they just keep on winning. After a dominant win over the Wizards last night, the Knicks' record is at 22-22, which puts them at the 6th spot in the East. The Knicks have already managed to win more games than they did in the entirety of last season, but with over 25 games left, the Knicks are far from guaranteed to make the postseason. With the NBA trade deadline just a couple of days away, the Knicks have been tied to several trade rumors. Recently, it's been reported that the Knicks have had trade talks with the Pelicans about Lonzo Ball, and they're apparently looking for a third team to take on Eric Bledsoe's contract. So in this video, let's discuss if Lonzo makes sense on the Knicks and if they should trade for him. But before we continue, please like the video and subscribe, as it really helps my channel grow. Now let's get started. Lonzo Ball is a player that's been tied to the Knicks for a while now. It's already been reported that the Knicks would have interest in Lonzo if he hits free agency, and according to LeVar Ball, Lonzo wants out of New Orleans. Unfortunately, the full details of the Knicks trade talks with New Orleans are unclear. If taking back Bledsoe is a requirement for acquiring Lonzo, then that puts the Knicks in a tough spot because they don't want to take on his contract. He's owed over $18 million a year for the next 2 seasons, and there probably aren't too many teams that want to take on Bledsoe's contract as well. But let's say if the Knicks don't have to take on Bledsoe, does Lonzo even make sense for New York? Lonzo Ball would help the Knicks in a lot of areas. The Knicks have been struggling to find a quality starting point guard for years now, and Lonzo has turned himself into a good starter. He's currently averaging 14 points per game, and he's knocking down 38% of his three-pointers, a career high. He's also, of course, an excellent playmaker and a defender. He just recently had a 17-assist game against the Blazers. The Knicks desperately need a starting point guard that could shoot, pass, and defend, so he will fill a lot of needs. The only thing is the Knicks are going to have to give something of value in return to the Pelicans, as they reportedly want at least a good first-round pick or young player in return for Ball. Of course, guys like RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, and Emmanuel Quickley should be off the table as they're legit building blocks. The Knicks may have to move a first-round pick to get a deal like this done. In this trade that I came up with, the Knicks moved Kevin Knox, Austin Rivers, and a 2023 Dallas pick for Lonzo. That probably meets what the Pelicans want in exchange for Lonzo Ball. Now, I know a lot of Knicks fans don't want to give up a first-round pick, but with the interest that Lonzo Ball is attracting league-wide, they're likely not moving him unless they get a first-rounder or a significant young player. Of course, the Knicks could try to play the long game and wait for Lonzo to become a restricted free agent this offseason, but there's risk in that too. For one thing, because he's a restricted free agent, the Pelicans ultimately decide whether he goes or not because they have the right to match any offer. And the Knicks could also end up in a potential bidding war for Lonzo's services. Lonzo is reportedly looking for $20 million a year annually, but of course, there's always a desperate team that's willing to overpay. A team like Chicago might offer Lonzo a contract that goes way over what the Knicks offer. So you can try to avoid trading picks for Lonzo and go after him in free agency, but there's no guarantee you land him anyway. So that's a huge dilemma for the Knicks right there. Do you try to pull off a trade for Lonzo now, or see if you can get him as a restricted free agent? I know a lot of people in the comments won't like this, but I like my trade proposal. In terms of the players, the Knicks aren't losing much. Austin Rivers had his moments, but he's a non-factor on this team. I know plenty of fans still have hope that Knox will turn into a good player, but I doubt that happens here. His game is super one-dimensional, and he's pretty much become a garbage time player at this point. When you're in your 3rd year and out the rotation, that's a major red flag. He's on the verge of being a bust. The only thing of serious value that the Knicks are giving up here is the 2023 Mavs pick, and while first rounders are always valuable, for a player of Lonzo's caliber, it's totally worth it. Also, Lonzo is only just 23 years old, so he could be a part of the Knicks rebuild, meaning that he can help the Knicks in the short and long term. He would also become a restricted free agent for the Knicks, which would make it a lot easier for the Knicks to keep him. But anyway, guys, I want to hear what you think. Should the Knicks pull off a trade for Lonzo Ball or try to sign him in the offseason? Or should they even be interested in Ball in the first place? Tell me in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and enjoy the rest of your day.